Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TEIF and our tech partner Prime Infotech Solution. Today's series is The Emerging Lawyer. Theme is From Courtroom Battles to Cricket Fields, Defending Justice. We are at Yorsin, the chocolate park, and we are honored with having Dikshat Mehra, our guest speaker for today. He is an associate partner at Rajani Associates with over a decade of experience in commercial litigation, arbitration, intellectual property rights, insolvency, and bankruptcy. Dikshat has established himself as a formidable force in the legal field. It will be a lovely conversation having with Dikshat. And for your information, he has been received a Rising Star Award by the Governor of Maharashtra, and there are many more interesting insights he will share during our coffee conversation. So, welcome, Dikshat, to today's Coffee Conversation episode.
Thank you.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani here, host at Coffee Conversation and a legal tech evangelist. So, Dikshat, my first question. What inspired you to pursue a career in law, and what continues to motivate you in this demanding field?
I think thank you first for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here. So to answer your question, what started off, so it's a little journey. I come from a business background from the family. So law was, I would say, was there in the mind, was not there in the mind. But initially, when we started off, I began my journey, and when I tried to first apply for a law, I must share this experience. That when I applied for a particular law school in Pune, unfortunately at that time, due to a technical, I could not manage to get the submission of the form, which meant that you always think back and life tells you, okay, I don't think that law is meant for you. But having said that, I pursued to do my management. During my first year of management, I just felt that I will obviously give another try to doing law. And I also believe that once I got that, I also wanted a profession where I could think that I could make a difference. And I just realized that law would be one of them. So I think having said that, that just made me think. And of course, after I finished my management, I then chose and I did my LLB from Mumbai University. What continues to make me this? I think that's a very. I think it's just the passion. If I would just put it very, I think you just have to be, and it's general. It's whatever you do, whatever one does, has to do it with complete, with that dedication and passion. The moment you have these two things, I think whatever you do, and of course you have to like it. That is something that liking is very important, and I think if you do that, I think that's what motivates you, and the challenges which come across with that. So that's what keeps me going.
Interesting. Passion is more important.
Yes.
So now let's come to your current role as an associate partner at Rajani Associates. Share some challenging case which you have handled recently, and what methods did you employ along with your seniors to complete that case?
So first, I think because the journey has been long from an intern to an associate to a principal associate and now a partner. I think the journey has been really long. But one thing I must be, I was very fortunate enough in my very earlier stages of from an internship to an associate. I got the privilege, I would say, to work at, of course, with Rajani Associates, and where I got in matters where they were quite interesting, and they made me learn and to shape as what I am today. So I think that was something which was there, and I think to pick and choose for a lawyer to pick up one such this, it is very difficult because we do multiple cases. But I think there was this one matter of a corporate hijacking, where we did this on a particular suit. So it was, just to give you a very brief about it. So it was that overnight, the directors of a particular company were removed from the directorship, and that company which was there, it had a particular land which was of very substantial value, which realized that there was of course a fraud being played. So I think that move around, and of course we had to move everything in the next 48 hours. Filing, getting it mentioned, getting our counsels in line, everything. So right from start to finish, it was everything which was required. We successfully managed, and in fact, it became one of the prime cases where the Honorable Bombay High Court said that this is actually a concern. So it happens with your company, it could happen with any other big corporate also. So, and I think with the assistance of all our my seniors at that time, this is of course some time back. So, but I think that strategy, what we had to delve into, and of course the client was of course very happy when he eventually had this, because as I said, the underlying asset was a very important asset. So I think that was very challenging, and I think what we can proudly say, I think the strategy what we adopted and the forum, that was very important, where we had to go, because there were multiple forums. We realized that we could have moved this or that court, but I think what we chose was something. I think I go back and really cherish that. I mean, besides that, there have been other issues also in terms of like an arbitration and an intellectual property right. The conflict between the two, and now because of the IBC, So we've been doing this multiple issues, which of course becomes really challenging, but again very exciting. So as I said, that's one of the memorable to put your to answer that question. I think that was something which was really, and of course it became really, it's now literally set like a precedent, for going forward for a lot of this. And of course the Bombay High Court also had a lot of observations on our matter. So that's all.
So now, as you said about arbitration and IPR, so let's come to arbitration. My question will be, what are the key points you take into consideration while working on an arbitration case?
So I'll tell you, the essence always lies in, let's get to the roots first. At least we are jumping to the fact that when it comes to a litigation. But I always, and personally, I believe that it is at the time of drafting a particular clause in an arbitration, it is very important to look at the minutest details. I am sure that a lot of people must have heard this or said this, that, arbitration is the so-called midnight clause because everybody is rushing to complete the transaction. Nobody looks at that clause. We understand for various reasons. It's not that I am telling anything against a particular this, but what happens is that in an eventuality and in a litigation, that's the first clause one is going to pick up, because if you know that parties are not added in at a particular, it's going to be a deadlock in that sense, and that your only remedy lies in terms of an arbitration. So I think the drafting of that arbitration clause is very important. It's got to be concise. It's got to be, you have to also look at, I would also say you have to also look at the quantum of the dispute, because you've seen so many agreements which will say that if let's say if it's a 4-5 crore dispute and you'll end up having 3 arbitral tribunals because you've not realized what is your quantum. So that becomes a little challenging, going forward. So I would say that drafting got to be concise, got to be fitting your particular case, and you realize that if it's some multinational, and of course we all know that the grade of the seat, venue, which going forward makes a lot of difference and a lot of litigations. So I think, having said that, I would say that the starting point before getting into the dispute is the drafting of that particular clause. That's got to be as foolproof. Of course, nobody lies that disputes won't happen and there would not be. But as far as the time is spent on that clause, you will save it going forward in litigation.
Very true. Very true. So now, my next question will be, how is Indian code adapted to litigation lawyers over the years?
They adapted to litigation lawyers? Well, I think, courts are meant for the litigation lawyers. To be honest, we are of course there, and we've always been. But I think it's always again it's a very different or value which we have towards the court, and of course we being as lawyers, we have a lot of duty towards our professional ethics. Also say that we have a duty towards client, but at the same time we also have a duty towards the courts. So there's a blend between the both. since you're in the coffee, so it's like a blend. You make a good coffee.
Yes.
So it's that blend which actually So I mean, the courts of course look up because the courts are only relying upon you as a lawyer and as an arguing counsel, as the case may be. So they'll always look upon on what you are relying upon and what is your research coming to. And that's the duty which you have, and of course, so the courts always rely upon it. So that's how they perceive us.
Yes. Okay. You have had a good experience with enforcement of foreign judgments and awards in India. So, can you just share how was your experience working on this case related to foreign judgments?
So again, it's really interesting. Personally, as I said, because I come back to my first answer of being passion, and something which was very new because it came up for the first time. I'm talking now 7-8 years back, 9 years back. So this was a very interesting case. We were of course against. We were not the one who was enforcing, but it was against our client, which was going to be enforced in India. So I think what is the best beauty about that, and the beauty about law, that somewhere or the other you'll always find some ground to take and to, of course, defend your client to the best of your capability, whether you're on an A side or you're on a B side. So I think the enforcement actually was very challenging. I may say that, very tricky, because it was eventually it had a good substantial amount which was against our client. But I mean, I very proudly say that we managed to actually assist him of ensuring that it doesn't enforce you on whatever technical grounds. I will not get into the technical grounds here, but and of course the research. We also ensure that we did thorough research on this particular, whether it's the Indian judgments or even it's to do with foreign, because of course it had to do with a foreign judgment getting enforced here. So we had to look at various jurisdictions to even get to this. And again, if I have to say anything after the corporate hijacking, when I have to place them on the same podium, I think both can stand first, because, and again, learned a lot from that particular matter. And it's, of course, now it's one of the judgments which have been reported also by various, the high courts, and being relied upon if it's for an enforcement or a foreign judgment. So, interesting.
So now my next question will be Dikshat. What are the critical issues you have faced during corporate insolvency cases?
So, corporate insolvency, because insolvency law in India has come in 2016. We are almost in our 8th year now. Things initially, because insolvency was quite new in India, worldwide, insolvency was there. Whether you talk about US or you talk about UK, we all know the great chapter 11. But unfortunately, India never had that mechanism. And today, if I go to see and how it started, and there were multiple issues, because any new law will obviously have its own issues when it has to put actually in practice. I mean, it's one thing to say it's a code, it's a unified code put in there, but when you have to actually practically apply it, it became very challenging in terms of, so we also act for a lot of resolution professionals who are, I always term them as a CEO or an MD of a company, because the law is that once the company goes into insolvency, you are actually, as a director, you are suspended. So it's the other professional taking over the company. So he's managing all your affairs. So he's like the prime target. Just like a director will be prime target in everything, he's the person running the show. So there are multiple challenges. So you just equate yourself of a director who has to face challenges. The same way you just replace, it just changes hands, and it's the RP who is there. So it could be your interim finance from the COC, you have to deal with banks, you have to deal with various statutory authorities, multiple issues which crop up in a company, because sometimes when the company goes into these insolvency, they don't even have documents. So what do? One challenge to the other challenge. But I think, as I said, this law has actually ensured that these borrowers are being able to now come to terms, because they know that if they do not pay up, they know that they will land up into insolvency. So yes, challenges are there, and I think multiple challenges keep on coming up. On one, as I mentioned, to give you a couple, was interim finance, where the RP doesn't have documents, what does he do? How does he actually go ahead and say that yes, this company is out and it has to be there's a resolution plan which has to be submitted. So yeah, that's about the multiple issues which.
Thanks for sharing this insights in insolvency cases. We've been hearing about difficulties being faced by you. We don't know what will happen. A unicorn startup now, where they will go and what it will be like, what the future will be for edtech startups. So, like, just wanted to have my curiosity question is coming up. If someone who's achieved something and wants to now protect, okay, they don't go for insolvency. So, what steps company should take if they don't go for insolvency? Because a lot of things go into making a company.
Correct. No, firstly, to stay about startups, I'm a big fan of startups because I believe that it takes a lot of courage to start something on your own, and I always term it like like your own child. Let's put it that way. That when you have your child and you realize that you're grooming him from the start, you make him get up, you make him run, you make him eat, and you've grown. And when he eventually has to, let's say, at 20 years down the line, when he goes to college or he's getting into a different facet of life, you realize that okay, now I have a ready child. So I'm a big fan of that because I think a lot of courage. So all the startups there, I think, deserve a very big, because that's the idea which comes up, right? And it's very challenging. There's no doubt about it. I think any founder or any entrepreneur, I think it's really a hats off to them. It's a big kudos. I may say that they face multiple challenges, but to what can you do to avoid? I think it's a multiple factors, because today, I mean, if you give the example of Baiju, I mean, there are other companies also. So it's not always the case that it is, I always say that a decision which we've taken, right? A founder or a co-founder could take a particular decision, which can always go bad. Now, we've seen that in the past. I will not name the borrowers of those multiple, I hope you know what I'm talking about. But we have to also see that they possibly did not do something wrong. Yes, what they thought was something, let's say, what they could have done 15 years later, they thought we could do it 15 years earlier. But it's always the vision. And a bad decision can always happen in any company. So, yes, what you can do to not do this is to ensure that, you have your team. I always believe that the team which you are working in, right, there has to be a lot of, that passion has to lie within it. Because the moment you start realizing that, there is no passion between the team itself, and you start realizing that, I mean, market-driven sources we all know, right? And every business faces that. But to overcome those challenges, what I call a pivot, right? Now, that's the theme of the startup. That you realize that you're doing a product. Let's get into it and let's get a pivot. That you are still in the market, but what you did is, and that answers the exact question, that how do I save? I may do the same product, but I have done a pivot to ensure that I'm still in the market. So that is my, and of course, there could be others, of sources of, it could be, as I said, market-driven sources and everything. But if you're there, and as I said, the passion, you take it as your child. Nobody would do any wrong to their own child. So if you treat it, that's how it.
Beautifully advice you have given. So startup founders, do watch this episode and listen to Dikshat Mehra sharing how you can avoid the pitfalls and focus, because this is your child, your baby. So as a parent, you can do wonders and make it grow again. So there are ways. So now, Dikshat, let's go back memory down the lane. You've been a speaker at PLEA on drafting of legal notice. So how was experience being a speaker?
Well, to be honest, I was very fortunate when I was first approached by the police. So police is basically a platform which actually gathers all these students, people who are interning or just about to possibly do law. They're thinking that they want to become lawyers. So it's a platform which just, gets together with this, and they pick up any topic which will, of course, there are some topics which are picked up during the exam because they believe that a session is more important. And instead of just reading through and when it is explained, it gets a little easier for them. So I think the experience was very good. And now, of course, being almost 12 years in the profession, I think it's very important to give back to whatever you have learned, because that's how our mentors have taught. I think it's a legacy which you always have to do for whatever best you can, give it, and to give them the whatever small piece of advice which it would assist them going forward, whether it's joining law or joining a law firm, maybe during the exams, anything. So I think the experience was very good. There was no doubt, and I think it was a pleasure actually, to interact. And there were multiple, because I realized that every generation or every student would have something else in the mind, and that's the beauty about about law. So that was a very good experience, I may say.
Wow. So you're leading me to the next question. Okay? Who has been your mentor, or who has influenced you from the legal world?
Well, I think again there would be so many to begin with, and of course it goes without saying that I would say that if this is my founding and managing partner, Mr. Rajani. So he's been a lawyer now for over 25 plus years. He's been a solicitor also. So I think that passion has also come in from there, because he still has that same passion to do his particular. So of course he was one, but I mean in terms of I think of course all my current partners at the firm and various other senior counsels from the Bombay High Court, been very very supportive and very nice. I mean I'd be wrong to even name through, because I think everybody and every senior, even the mid junior counsels and the seniors, all have been very very supportive, and so I think it's been a mixed that encouragement which you possibly need from the mentor and these counsels are really, and I may say that I'm really blessed to have those seniors. I know the senior counsels who possibly will watch this will know who am I referring to, but so that has
they have to listen, they have to watch.
They will have to watch.
So please share the link when it's published.
Sure.
Yeah. We have seen during the coffee conversation, people have named persons, they have not named, but they have paid gratitude.
Yeah. No. I mean, this without saying that as an individual, I always pray that gratitude, because I think it's very important in our lives to be thankful to a lot of people, and whether it's your mentors, whether it is, I think it's very important to be grateful. I think that what takes you to the next level is, I always believe, if you're not grateful and humble, and you say that you are the one who's done things, I think it doesn't work like that. And I mean, maybe I think that's what cricket has also taught me, is that to have that team. One player cannot score anything, right? It is the team which will eventually lead you to that. So I think it's always an effort, and to be gratitude always.
Wow, that is true. So now, let's go to your journey of winning awards like the Rising Star Award from Governor of Maharashtra, Lex Falcon Award for Legal Professional. So how's experience and its impact on your journey?
So, when it happened from the Governor of Maharashtra, it was of course very overwhelming. I mean, who would not want that in just 12 years of your career, that you would look forward to it? I still remember the call coming in from the Raj Bhavan, along with, because it was organized with the trust. There was a social trust who was also involved in it, because of course they themselves will not, they need somebody who's going to, so I really, for a second, I thought that I just hope they've not got the wrong number. You always feel that you're overwhelmed at that time. And but again, looking back, the experience after that has been, and of course it was a privilege to be at that at the Raj Bhavan, and when you of course see your name engraved in that particular list, and there were 40 of us from different fields of, whether it was law, it was technology, it was media, everywhere. So I think it was very overwhelming at that time, emotional too. But of course, I mean, because I just thought that, but yeah, one thing then you say that, okay, now you've reached her, now you know that you have to hit the other level.
Yes.
And that's what keeps you motivated and getting strive to the next level. That's how I've been, as in you always keep on thinking, ahead. So yeah, so the experience was good, and even framing the legs started, they were very kind enough and generous to award me with because that had a worldwide forum. So that was again very it's been really a good impact on the entire journey. So yeah, overall it was, of course, yeah. But of course, being from the governor, that will of course be will go a long way.
Long way. Yes. I'll have to share with you two things. So we are also connected. I'm a member of Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce, and they had organized a function over there, and I got the opportunity to be invited at Rajbhavan. Being at Rajbhavan, that feeling is very different, and people talk about you get to see peacock, and I saw. You saw?
Absolutely. No, in fact, I missed that. I think that though what you're saying is absolutely correct, and that first feeling when you just enter the entire premises, if I may start with, I have not even reached the Bhavan yet, but even that entering of that premises, I think it was a very good. I would not deny that. I would not deny that because you're just overwhelmed with and it's a simple thing when even the guard has to escort you to say that you are one of the, so that just makes you feel that again, one thing, gratitude for that, and always been thankful and grateful for that. I would never be, because it's not one person. I believe there are there's the other factors also which always help to get you there. So I can completely understand what you also must have felt.
I think the event now.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to receive award from the governor, hopefully. Sure. So I won an award from Lex Falcon for legal tech service provider sometime back. So that experience was also awesome. Getting interviews, then receiving the award. We can seek by receiving award and talking about. So that was also a wonderful opportunity, interacting. So I'm also gratitude where my team and so many people have contributed. We have been in this field of providing legal tech software solutions to law firm and corporate legal over a decade. So this Lex Falcon has been.
Congratulations to you too.
Yeah, that was around 2-3 years back. Yeah. So, but it's not. I told you we have got two things in common. Yes. So there are many more milestones to achieve.
Of course.
So yeah. So now, Dikshat, how do you keep yourself updated with a lot of changes happening in the field of law?
I think just to keep updated with. I think what I usually do is, and that's been a practice for some time, is that just spend some time early in the mornings to, just go through possibly all this. Now, we all know that there are multiple forums and sites and apps where they possibly give you all the legal. So it's not as difficult as what possibly our mentors or our seniors may have to do, because they had to literally go and find a particular, let's say if it's a judgment or everything. Today we are talking about everything is just on your phone and this. So what I usually try to do is I try to keep it up to trying to read as much as can, and just try to be updated with possibly whatever comes in, because I think that I'll relate back to the passion. But the more you have the passion to it and you do it, and you think, because I always believe that it's one idea which leads you to the other. Yes. So if I'm dealing with a particular matter, I know that if this is where I have found something, I would possibly, because I have read something, I will just equate it with the other, and that's how it's. So yeah, just it's only one thing: read, and read.
Yes, yes, true. So now, technology has played a major role for legal professionals. So, how has technology impacted you, and which legal tool has played a major role in your life?
So from technology, and I think everywhere there has always been about AI and technology being played in lawyers, and then of course you must have heard this. It's a very common saying that AI is going to replace lawyers, but I would just take it to say that I think AI and technology is here to only complement the lawyers, whether it's from a corporate, whether it's from a search tool, which would be helpful from a litigation point of view. Since I come from the litigation background, I can tell you something personally. It's that these are the tools which will possibly help you to quicken your search, because we are living in times that everybody wants everything very quick. Like we call it as the instant. Like you say, coffee, so you say instant. Yeah, we all need that instant coffee. So that's what technology does to you, because that's where. And I'm saying not only in terms of even a search tool. I think even from a consumer or from a client, if he's particularly looking at a thing, he knows that where he would also today he can also go and he can also read about particular. And of course, when it comes to interpretation, lawyers are of course always there. And as I said, they'll always be complementing, because there are certain things where technology still can't what or a lawyer can do. It's in terms of a dispute, because we still have that human touch. We still have that, technology will only pick up and tell you that, yes, this is it. But again, not to say that it is not, it is 100% is going to complement. And I think going forward, it's really going to be, technology is going to be really, very helpful even for lawyers and other schemes also. It's not only about the lawyers. So yeah.
Okay. So my last question for your professional journey will be: what advice would you give to young lawyers entering the legal world?
Well, I think the first thing is that when you're entering and giving are you up to just keep on striving yourself and just being there and knowing that this is first you need to figure that I know how to do this. Because most of the times I've seen, and it happens during the initial years, that we will be like, because we just know that everybody has become lawyer, and I said, oh, it's very good to be a lawyer, because we all have seen the great suits, and there are multiple US shows which go and people say that these are the lawyers, and that's how it is. People will try and say, oh, I would want to become like the Harvey Specters and this. Everybody has their, but there's a lot of back end which one has to introspect. So first, I think from this that you need to know for sure that this is what you want to do. You got to be very clear. Nobody says after 2 years people will realize that no, I don't want to, and then they literally have to say that, okay, I go from a corporate to a litigation. Like for me, I think initially within 1 year I thought that I know what I have to do. I knew that I had to do litigation. I started with corporate, but I immediately jumped into litigation because I said this is where I want to be. So it's very important to first, know that you're there. There'll be multiple challenges coming in, but you got to just be there. But it's that intent, and you want to do this. That I think is very. Rest everything just follows. It's just a journey. Then you just have to follow the path, and you keep on going. There will be times you'll be like, why am I in this profession? I'm spending 15 hours. I'm spending 14 hours. But if you like that, I call it the hustle. If you're up for it, I think then you're made for it. And
yeah. So let's continue the conversation, and we go to the personal round. Let's see Dikshat as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative relationship.
So family. So it may be very easy to say I come from a joint family. This is not a concept where we, people are more on the nuclear family, but I come from a joint family. All from Bombay. My grandfather was from Punjab. So he had of course come in from there. But rest everybody has been in Bombay. So as I was mentioning earlier, we come from a textile background. So we got a business where where textiles was they've been now for almost 40 plus years, or maybe even little more. So that has been the entire family where my uncle, my dad, and my granddad. So just been there, as a family, and I've been starting in terms of, as I said, being in that business. So I come from that background, but I'm not a businessman. But I chose to become a lawyer. So yeah, I think that's about the. Of course, I have a younger sibling also. So that also is yeah. So it's just it's a good yeah. So that's also been good. Family's always been together, which is very important.
So my question, I'm curious, since you're coming from a business family, so when you announced that you want to join or you want to become a lawyer, so what was your family? How did your family react?
The the first reaction, it was possibly from my mother and from this. She had nothing once to say that yes, if you want to do it. I said yes. She says just go for it. So I think it became. I thought that it would become a challenge, and I would have that. But I think it's just that they've been, as I said, they've been supportive. So when they said you want to do it, sure, you want to look at something as well. Because I gave you the example of when it initially did not happen at the university which I wanted, and then you start feeling that okay, it's not happened. That means the universe doesn't want me to do it, or you just start feeling.
Yeah.
But you didn't leave that attempt. You went back, you thought about it, and so it happened. So I think, and everybody was been really supportive. Of course, my dad was saying that why don't you have a business because it is there, and I said, okay, I said let's look at it. Of course, there could be. Let's put it that okay, there would be something where I can come back to if it's God forbid if it did not work out. But I think again grateful and thankful that been 12 years, I've never thought that I would go back to the business. Yeah. So I think we've been overall very supportive.
So do you play a role in your family business?
When I say role in the family business, I would say initially, before I did, I was. But I think now, I think you just leave it up to them to, and of course, when there is something in terms of a commercial or this, you always put in and giving your bit. But by and large, it is their own.
Do you take interest in what's happening?
I would take
trends, something, contribute over there.
See, that as a person, I love to, even keep trends, not only about law, I would also look at the other industries also. So yeah, that is there. I keep on, asking today, what is it, something which comes up or there is anything. Yeah, I take interest. I would not say full interest, but yes, there would be some interest which I take.
Yeah, because staying in a joint family, everyone contributes in their way.
Yeah.
In spite of they have migrated to some other careers.
Right.
But
of course,
interest in personal professional life keeps continuing and you contribute.
Yeah.
So that's what
does. No. So that is there. That is there. There's some kind of interest which is of course. So yeah.
Okay. So now coming to you have a keen interest in cricket. So tell us about your experience and some memories playing cricket.
So when I started playing cricket, I think possibly in school. I think it was the 6th or the 7th standard. First time picked up for these shield matches, we used to have in school. And for a long period of time, I was in the team, but not picked up in that 11. So again felt like why I want to be there in the team and to go up to my coach and ask. But of course, everything has struggle and everything has that thing. Then came a day that he said, yes, I'll give you an opportunity. And it was honestly a crucial match at that time. And we won that match. And of course, that becomes a memorable then and the court just said one thing. He said, I made a good decision to take it, and that still is in my mind to say that okay, I hope I lived up to his expectation, because you had so much pressure, and when you're dealing with pressure, and when you're especially playing cricket, it gets on to you. So, but having said that, I think that was one, and of course, when I scored my first century in chasing down a 300 total in a inter-school, so I think that was again.
Which school you went to?
I was in GD Soman. Yeah, it was a tough place.
Yeah, I'm from Christchurch.
Oh, okay.
So that's with the
Okay.
chill matches.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
not a going to sport, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's always so coming back to that. And of course, then as lawyers, then once we became lawyers, then cricket was out. But then there were some tournaments which were organized by these different law firms where you participate and against. There also we had a good experience, and it was great to come back to when I had to take out my of course I may say that we won a very crucial match again against a particular law firm which managed us to take us to the other level. So again, I mean that thought back that yes, I think we can still play it.
yes. Because once into cricket, it's always So, who's your from among the cricket players you like?
I think which is the most, and it's very common, and I'm assuming that it's for most of the people. I would strongly believe it is Dhoni, because I think there was a period of time in cricket where Indian team was just trying to get back to itself, and I still remember Saurav Ganguly telling him and actually promoting Mahendra Singh Dhoni and to say that this boy has something and he will possibly get to. And I think that journey from 2006-7 onwards till I think where we won the World Cup, and then little after that, I think there were great things what he did it. So I think he became my that, and again very focused, and his vision was very clear. My vision is clear. I have to build the team, and I think that's what is continued even till 2024, if I may say so. Whether it was Virat Kohli or whether it was Rohit Sharma. So I think that starting point was very important. So that's why I believe it's Dhoni. Yeah.
So Dikshat, how do you de-stress yourself?
For lawyers, being de-stress is but I think you need to just manage your time, which is, to be very honest, it would be a very a false answer to give that you manage your time, because anything comes at any particular point of time. Having said that, if you set certain things and you have like a list, like you know that this is my agenda for the day. I know I have to complete this, and I know by a particular point of time I have to leave my place and go unwind myself. Whether it's going and meeting friends, it's going out, going for a movie, going for any short trips. I think that is something which is it's required. Yes, it gets difficult, as I said earlier. It gets difficult because sometimes you just can't get away with. But you got to make some time to unwind, because I believe unwinding yourself will make you spend that extra 4 hours after that 2 days, because your mind eventually needs that unwind. So I think it's very important, and as I said, going out, watching a movie, going and possibly going on a short trip or going on a travel, and just do nothing. That's very important.
So from your travel places, which is your favorite place and was experience?
I think favorite place in that sense. I mean, I of late been to within India. I may say so. First to begin with, it was Kashmir. A very beautiful place, and when you go to this place of Gulmarg and this, I mean, I for a second didn't know that I was in India. I mean, this really made you feel that okay, Indian places are also which has. So I think that was quite a very nice experience, and I would love to go back to that place again and again. It was really beautiful. So yeah. Otherwise, I think any international trips, so it's all good. Go to places like Dubai, that's always good. And of course, US also. When I first visited, I really loved the place. In certain sets, you will not find New York because we find New York like Bombay, it's just answer. But there are certain places which are also good in the interior. So yeah, that's
Wow. So Dikshat, how do you keep in touch with your friends?
how do I keep in touch with my friends? I think just sometimes it just happens again going to the profession. I think just dropping a text or just calling them for that 5 minute or taking a particular like just a hi hello and just to be in that touch. And of course, I think the great way of keeping up with whether it's your school friends or your college friends and everything. I think if you just play a game together or you have even a 1 day trip, where you're not doing anything. Because what happens is when you're meeting somebody outside you just have that 2 hours, 3 hours, because everybody is everywhere and they know that tomorrow is you're working again. So I believe that if you have like a short, trip where everybody is, and keeping it and making those plans, it's very important. So just be in touch. We all know that everybody, as I said, is everywhere, but just being there in touch and giving that, a hello, hi, is just keeps you.
Wow. So now my last question will be, describe Dikshat in one line.
Describe. I don't think I'm meant for the kind-hearted. So I'm not meant for them. So I have, I'm not for the kind-hearted, ambitious at the same time. So yeah, that's the one line. Sorry, I made it a little one more, but yeah.
Okay. So now let's come to the fun round, the rapid fire. So you have to be quick, funny, and witty. Are you a morning person or night owl?
Night out.
Okay. Your favorite music?
Punjabi.
Okay. Favorite food dish?
Butter chicken.
So, would you like reading a book or watching a movie if you're given a choice?
Watching a movie.
Okay. Your favorite color?
Black.
Okay. Your favorite line someone has said to you?
I think the favorite line would be, what is happening is good. What is also going to happen with you is for the good. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Female Indian cricketer.
There was a movie and I'm forgetting her. So that would be
Tapsi played the role.
Tapsi played the role in that. I think that was a very nice because of the entire journey of that. In that cricketer when he faces that journey, so on the name, I'm not just getting the name, but you're right.
I saw the movie on Netflix.
Yes, no, I saw that in the theater. Like, to be honest, I saw that because I thought that journey was very important.
Very good.
So yes, I would go for that.
And Tapsi played.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautifully.
No, that was
It was a beautiful line.
yes, no doubt.
Okay. Your favorite actress?
Kareena Kapoor.
Okay. Punjabi.
You may call it that, but yeah, she's
Okay. So you get to win this book, Shaping the Agency Lawyer for Future. A lot of insights. It will help you to take your career to the next level. So, autograph. I'm an author of 13 ebooks. So that will help you. So, friends, it was a lovely conversation which we had with Dikshat Mehra. He shared a lot of insights on insolvency, arbitration, and being a cricketer. So all the cricket fans do watch this episode. He has shared a lot of things, and this episode will be available on the Coffee Conversation Show on YouTube, where we have over 150 plus episodes on different series. If you want to be a guest speaker, visit our website, theemergingindiaforum.com, fill in the form, the team will connect with you, and subscribe to our channel. You will get to learn from different guest speakers. Look forward to another interesting conversation with another speaker. Enjoy your day. See you all.